We're jumping straight into Rocket Lab today. Everyone is watching the price action, but the real story is the massive shift to becoming a prime defense contractor.
Exactly. You're tuned into the Easy Money Show, where we make sense of the market's biggest moves. I'm glad you're with us.
And hey, before we launch into the numbers pun, absolutely intended, do us a quick favor. If you want to stay ahead of these market moves, just subscribe and hit that like button. It really helps us keep the lights on.
It really does.
So look, let's set the scene here. It is February 2nd, 2026. The stock's floating around, what, 88.57?
Yep. Hitting new highs. It's been on an absolute tear.
A tear is putting it lightly. The chart is it's vertical. It was up 173% in 2025, and now another 38% just in January.
It's incredible.
But here's the hook. This is what we really need to dig into. Does a company that is still, burning cash actually justify a $47 billion market cap?
Yeah.
Or is this just hype?
That is the $47 billion question, isn't it? And frankly, that valuation is giving a lot of traditional investors vertigo.
I can imagine. But if you peel back the layers, the bull case isn't just rockets go up.
Yeah.
It really rests on three specific pillars: revenue acceleration, their moat in space systems, and the simple fact that the U.S. government needs a backup to SpaceX. Okay, let's start with revenue then, because that's the fuel in the tank, right? We're not just seeing little bumps here.
No, this is a step change. So Q3 2025, they hit $155 million in revenue. That's up 48% year over year.
48%, wow.
Yeah, that is legitimate hypergrowth. And the guidance for Q4, which we're waiting on, is in the 170 to 180 million range.
But the number that really jumped out at me was the full year 2026 model. People are whispering about $900 million.
900 million. I mean, you're knocking on the door of the billion-dollar revenue club. That's psychologically huge for a company like this. It changes the whole narrative.
It moves them from cool science project to something much more serious.
To an industrial juggernaut. But, and this is the key insight for today, that revenue isn't coming from where most people think it is.
Right. And I want to drill down on this because I think this is the biggest misconception. People hear Rocket Lab, they think of a rocket launch. Fire, smoke,
The show business, yeah.
But that's not the real money business.
It's a great way to put it. The launch part is, it's essentially a taxi service. It's vital, it gets headlines, but it's low margin, high risk. The real growth engine, the thing justifying the stock price, is space systems.
Space systems. So everything that sits on top of the rocket.
Precisely. The cargo, not just the truck. They build the solar panels, the software, the star trackers for navigation. They're building the actual satellites themselves.
Okay, hold on. Star trackers, reaction wheels.
Yeah.
Break that down. Why is that a moat? Can't anybody just build a wheel?
Well, it sounds simple, but it's incredibly hard. A reaction wheel has to spin in a vacuum, in extreme radiation, for maybe 15 years without failing. If it breaks, the satellite is just dead space junk.
So it's about reliability.
It's all about flight heritage. Their parts have been up there working for years. You can't fake that. When the government is spending $1 billion on a satellite, are they going to buy a discount part from a startup?
No, they're buying the one they know works.
They're buying the one they know works. And that trust is the moat. That's what led to the catalyst, the thing that turned them into a prime contractor.
The big contract with the Space Development Agency, the SDA.
That's the one, $816 million.
$816 million. Just to put that in perspective, that's nearly double their entire revenue from the year before in one contract.
It's staggering, and it changes everything.
So what does that term prime contractor actually mean for the business model?
It means they're at the head of the table. Before, they were a supplier to the big guys, the Lockheeds, the Northrops. Right.
Now, Rocket Lab is the big guy. They get the call directly from the Pentagon. It de-risks the entire company because it makes them critical to national security. The government is basically saying, we need you to exist.
So they're becoming the next Lockheed, but born in the modern tech era. In a way, yes. And that leads right into the second part of the bull case, being the SpaceX alternative. We have to talk about the Starship in the room. Right now, Elon Musk basically owns the sky.
He does. Falcon 9 is the workhorse for the entire planet. But from the Pentagon's perspective, that's a huge strategic risk. You can't have a single point of failure for your access to space.
So you need a plan B.
You absolutely need a plan B. And while, you have Blue Origin in the mix, Rocket Lab has the track record, they're launching all the time. Blue Origin hasn't even put a payload into orbit yet.
That is a pretty stark difference. But the Electron rocket is small, right? You can't launch a giant spy satellite on it.
Correct. Electron is the taxi. To really compete, you need a semi-truck.
Enter Neutron. Enter Neutron. That's their next-gen medium-lift rocket. It's designed to go head-to-head with Falcon 9. If they pull that off, they break the monopoly.
And that seems to be what the big money is betting on. I'm seeing price targets now, some as high as 105.
Yeah, Wall Street is catching up. They see the defense contracts, they see the execution, and they're willing to pay a premium for growth in a sector this hard to get into.
Okay, so that's the sunny side of the street. It sounds perfect. But my job is to be the skeptic here. And I'm looking at this $47 billion valuation for a company that, well, it isn't profitable yet.
You are not wrong. And this is where we have to get serious about the bear case.
Yeah.
Because the story is great, but the math is, let's call it aggressive.
Aggressive is a nice word for it. The stock is at 88 bucks. The 50-day moving average is 67. We are way, way above the trend line.
We are parabolic. And what that means is the stock is priced for perfection. Any stumble, any delay with Neutron, any missed target, it could cause a really sharp, violent pullback.
And speaking of people who might be worried about the price, let's talk insiders. I saw a number that made my eyebrows shoot up. $272 million.
That's the value of stock that insiders have sold in the last 3 months.
$250 million.
Yeah.
Okay, play devil's advocate for me. If I'm the CEO, and I truly believe this is the next big thing, why am I cashing out now? Why not wait?
It's the classic concern. Now, to be fair, they still own almost 12% of the company. They haven't abandoned ship. And executives sell for all sorts of reasons, taxes, diversification.
Sure, I get buying a beach house.
Yeah.
But $272 million buys a lot of beach houses.
It does. And when the volume is that high, it suggests that maybe, just maybe, they think the current price is a pretty good one. It suggests they're taking some chips off the table while the market's hot.
It definitely makes you pause. And then there's the actual financial health. We talk about revenue, but revenue is not profit.
No, it is not. Rocket Lab is still burning cash. Their net margins are negative 35%. Think about that. For every dollar they bring in, they spend $1.35.
Ouch. How long can they keep that up?
Well, they have cash, but building Neutron is incredibly expensive. That eats money like a furnace, and it creates a risk. If they have to raise more capital, they could dilute shareholders.
And the entire bull case really hangs on execution. We always say space is hard, but it's true.
It's the reality. Delays are the norm in this business. The market is assuming Neutron launches on time. What if there's a technical snag and it gets pushed back a year? That $900 million revenue target for 2026? It evaporates.
And then there's just the general sector hype. You've got these SpaceX IPO rumors floating around, and it feels like Rocket Lab is catching a ride on that wave.
There is definitely a FOMO trade happening. Fear of missing out. If those SpaceX rumors cool off, a lot of that hot money could just disappear.
Okay, so let's put this all together. What are the specific triggers you're watching in the next 30 days? What keeps you up at night if you own this stock? 3 things. First and foremost, earnings, February 26th.
February 26th. Mark your calendar. They have to hit that Q4 guidance. And more importantly, they have to reaffirm that $900 million target for 2026. If they got down, the stock gets hammered. No question.
Okay, earnings is number 1. What's number 2?
Neutron updates. We need to see hardware. We're done with computer graphics. I'm watching for news on static fire tests for the Archimedes engine.
Explain static fire.
It's where they bolt the engine to the ground and light it up to see if it explodes. A successful test is a massive catalyst. It proves the tech works. Silence, on the other hand, is bad news.
So watch their social media for videos of fire. Got it. And the third thing.
Macro factors, specifically the defense budget.
Because geopolitical tension is good for business.
It sounds cynical, but yes. The more the U.S. government prioritizes space-based defense, the more money flows to companies like Rocket Lab. They're a direct beneficiary.
And I assume you're keeping an eye on those SpaceX IPO rumors, too.
Absolutely. As long as that chatter is out there, Rocket Lab benefits. It keeps the momentum going. But if that story dies, the air could come out of this balloon really fast.
So let's wrap this up. You've got a company that's executing beautifully, winning the right contracts, but you are paying a massive, massive premium for it. You're buying it at an all-time high while it's losing money, and insiders are selling.
It's the definition of a high-risk, high-reward play. You're betting they can grow into this valuation before the cash burn becomes a real problem.
Here's a thought to leave you with then. We always talk about banks being too big to fail. Is Rocket Lab becoming a defense utility that the government can't let fail? If SpaceX has a problem, does the U.S. military need Rocket Lab to be there no matter the cost?
That is a very real possibility. Its strategic value might now outweigh its fundamental value, at least to its biggest customer.
That's the lowdown on Rocket Lab. Keep your eyes on the stars, but keep your stops tight. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to keep up with the easy money. We'll see you next time.